CableLabs, leading the innovation in the cable industry, really and beyond. I was really impressed with your numbers, Chris. You spoke here at the NCTC's WEC event. How big CableLabs is outside the United States. Why don't you kind of give us an overview of CableLabs of 2017?
Well, we've expanded over the last 4 years from about 33 members to now 56 members. The substantial bulk of that change has occurred across Europe and Asia and Latin America, where we've devoted a good deal of effort to essentially international representation to take advantage of not only scale of our technologies across the world, but also innovation coming not just from North America, but also from other regions of the world.
One of the things, you've set up several programs, so you talked about this one called Upramp, and maybe you could talk to that briefly, because that speaks to innovation and how do you cultivate it.
Well, Upramp, which was started by a colleague of mine, a very successful entrepreneur, Scott Brown, is a program where we identify companies that have come out of accelerators with technologies we believe will have applicability to the cable television industry, and identified in our first round of this 4 companies with technologies working closely with CableLabs as mentors, also our subject matter experts and mentors from across the cable operators to develop and refine the business and service, and in some cases the technology itself, for application to the industry. It's designed to be real world in terms of the success of the program, geared to having real deals, real engagements. And of this first cohort of 4 technology companies, there have now been 16 successful engagements across various cable operators paired with one or more of these companies.
And your role in particular is helping to make sure that these smaller operators have this technology available to them, right? You're kind of that liaison?
Yeah, I've had a very, very long-term commitment to the mid and smaller market operators. It's my own heritage before I joined CableLabs. And we pulled together, CableLabs and my colleagues, the mid and smaller market operators here in the U.S. as well as in Canada at 3 points during the year, very focused on an exchange of not only the issues that are important to them from a business, and technical, and strategic standpoint, but also technologies in which we're engaged, so that they're well aware of the technologies that are or will affect the industry, and when it's appropriate to engage with CableLabs or their colleagues around these technologies.
One of the technologies that you mentioned was 5G and where that is. And why don't you kind of talk to what you believe is the timeline for when that's going to roll out?
Well, we're focused on broadly writ 5G technologies and how they can ultimately benefit the cable industry based on both business propositions and ultimately how that technology can interface on a kind of a fixed wireless convergence. In terms of when 5G technology is highly commercialized around not only the U.S. but elsewhere, that's a few years down the road as standards get completed. There are trials that the likes of AT&T and Verizon have identified. But in terms of full-on commercialization to take advantage of not only the high bandwidth, low latency characteristics, the ability to serve literally billions of connected devices through IoT, that's still a few years off down the road.
And we're talking millimeter waves, very high frequencies, 30 gigahertz, 60 gigahertz. So it implies that there needs to be some kind of infrastructure there to get to these cells, right?
Well, the answer is yes. If you think about wireless networks, mobile to begin with, all wireless networks are inherently dependent upon fixed line and short lengths between a wireless tower, say, and then backhaul into a network. Cable is uniquely positioned with the ubiquity of its wired network to take advantage of 5G technologies when, as a business and economic and consumer proposition, either business or residential, that makes sense.
And that's exactly what it sounds like what CableLabs is doing, is help position your members and the other operators to exploit that when it's the right time.
Absolutely. We are looking at more and more about the convergence of fixed and wireless networks, and whether that's whether those are fixed or mobile applications, looking at how the technology can best be advantaged from the standpoint of the cable industry.
Excellent. Well, Chris, I appreciate your update today, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.